Okay.
We're ready, Mr. Chairman.
All right, I'd like to call the special meeting of the county board to get into order and ask you to please rise and recite the pledge with me as Blood would do.
Yep.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You rushed it.
Yeah.
The phrase too soon there.
He did, not me.
We did that at the Republican meeting last week, and they did it the old way.
Augie, will you call the roll, please?
Yes. Voigt,
Yeah, here, present.
Lorenzen,
Yep.
Luddington, Farnham, Chittick,
Yes.
Bruner,
Yes.
and Patrick.
Yes.
Is there any public comment? Hearing none, we'll move on. Augie, would you describe the resolution that we need to pass and why on the transference to the Kirkman Building to the Hospital and Medical Foundation of Paris?
I'd be glad to, and I'll make it very brief. Even though our past minutes reflect the fact that we're disposing or getting rid of the Kreckman building, Mark asked for a resolution just to be extra cautious, and so he's drafted a resolution, which I obviously have in my possession, and it just conveys it from us to the hospital. Pretty simple, more of an administrative thing than anything else.
I just want to make sure it was described. Does anybody have any questions about
Well,
that
about
issue?
the stuff in the, have we got rid of everything?
Everything is out.
Good, good. What about the slot machines?
Oh, they got out a long time.
Oh, didn't have them. Rest of them somewhere. Yeah,
All right, can I have a motion if you're ready?
I'll make a motion.
Dan moves the
Second.
resolution. Derek seconds. Any further questions? I assume you're ready to vote. Would you call the roll, please?
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Bruner,
Yes.
and Chittick.
Yes.
Thank you. It is passed. There's been no other purpose for the special meeting. I would entertain a motion for its adjournment.
So moved. Second.
Derek and Andy moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll start this. All right. Let us know when you're ready there, bud.
It's rolling.
Okay, the study session's now happening, and we've already said the pledge. Public comment? Hearing none, we'll go on and committee reports. Andy?
I've got Wiss Jenny and Elsner coming on October 2nd to do the inspection of the courthouse. Doesn't mean that we'll have an answer at that point, but he's gonna come take pictures, write everything down, then go back and discuss and come up with a comprehensive report on the courthouse. And so that process begins October 2nd. I talked to the clock people again. I think I'm gonna, he said he thinks, Bob and I went up, took a video of what's going on up there with the gears. He goes, I think it's just a roll pin broke off. He said, he and another guy that in there looked at it, so he goes, well, if you just take that one, he told me what to do, take the gear off, put a new roll pin. He goes, he thinks he can fix that. That would fix the clock.
Just one particular problem.
Well,
Yeah.
no, it's from the inside.
Oh, hell! That
Now,
would be great.
Oh, damn, I was really wanting to recall the outside
Well,
still.
just
Hang
hang
on,
on.
but
We,
you're saying out
we
there.
may still want you to do that. Because
That would be S and G. Shits and grits.
Bob found anybody else aware that he found one of there's counterbalances on all those hands, and he found one laying in the yard the other day.
Jesus.
How'd you like to be walking by?
How'd you like to be clocked by one of them?
No pun intended.
David.
So that needs to be put, I mentioned that to the guy and he goes, well, you need to put that back on. He goes,
How you gonna do it?
Mr. Obvious.
so,
That's important.
You gotta do for that from the outside. wouldn't
now
you?
you have to do it from the outside. So, John, you still may have your chance.
Well, and what I'm curious about, those counterbalances are what determine the speed that the hand's gonna go around. So you're just gonna sit there with your clock through an 8-hour cycle and see how your time's
He said it will
holding?
go ahead and work. He says it's just a lot harder on the gears. The purpose of that balance is to make it so that
Sorry, you're
Yeah, you're late.
Yeah, I know, sorry, I got a phone call.
he said so that basically it's the same amount of pressure on at the hand all the way at 3 and at 9 all the way around.
We had our special meeting and we passed a resolution to make it formalized, so we had the proper documentation for closure of the sale of the Kreckman building. That was accomplished. We just started with Andy and he's talking about the clock tower and meeting on October 2nd for the survey of the building, and then he's now talking about the clock and some of the things that need to be done to get that up to speed. No pun intended. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that's good. I think maybe we can fix the ones that I'm gonna get Bob and I up there and try to replace a pin in. I think that's what it appeared to me, and when I showed the guy the video we took, what it was doing, he seemed to think that would fix it. So, and it can be done from the inside, but we have one of the counterweights on the hands that fell off, Bob found it in the yard.
And Jeff said, boy, I'd hate to be clocked by that thing.
Clock by clock.
No pun
How much did that
intended.
thing weigh?
It wasn't, it's just a,
2-3 pounds?
can do some damage.
Well,
It came
fall
straight
from
down out of the,
100 feet,
out of the sky.
We've had some pretty good wind lately, or we sure didn't fall off another county courthouse and just blow over here.
Now we've gone to silly
Yes,
to
we have.
ridiculous.
So,
You'd be amazed at what I find.
yeah. So that's what's on the agenda right now.
Did you wanna,
Mention.
Dina's office and the carpet?
Oh, yes.
We painted the walls. It's really gonna look nice. Right now, it's already tore up. It's at that stage where, just before they put it all back together.
I stopped in to pay my taxes.
So, at any rate, they're well pleased and
Yeah.
they're looking forward to have a more professional atmosphere, and they're excited about it. So if you get a chance, stop in and say, hey, Bob's done a nice job of helping in painting. Dina complimented him, and so anyway.
And that was,
It's a good thing.
that carpet's been there since we got the building.
Right, and we need then to look at some other things there, but, anyway, it's a good thing. Dan?
I'm on the road and bridge committee. Could I have Eric come in a minute, ask him a question? There's some stuff on the email, I really couldn't see it and understand what it is.
Didn't see that.
Yeah.
Not that.
Cameron's.
Yeah.
Kevin can seal it.
All that stuff he had.
Charge you more than you
Trying to,
do.
it's so small, I really didn't understand what he was putting on there. Do you see it?
You have to ask Rick if they do that.
No, I don't have a phone.
Dan has a question of you,
Yeah, all that
Mr.
stuff on
Engineer.
email, that had all the lines and the ramps and all that, it was only that big on my email at the hospital, so I kinda wonder what all of that represented.
Say that again.
All the stuff you put on last week about the lines and the haul
Oh.
routes and all that stuff.
Yeah,
And there's one little symbol that said a problem or something, remember that? You had three things, you had the haul route, transmission line, and then there was one little symbol at the bottom that said something about this represents a problem. You have that on
Does
your,
anybody have the email?
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Yeah, it's in here.
I mean, I can print it real quick.
I've got a paper copy of it, but I don't have the map.
no, I printed it off, I still couldn't reach it.
From the Kansas West one, when we
Yeah.
went on Friday.
Thank you, sir.
So I just kinda explained what all that was.
Okay, where's the,
Well, it had a,
oh, all those maps?
yeah, and
Yeah,
then it had,
that's from the consultant.
okay, but there was something that said, oh, right here, no, that wasn't it. existing problem or something on the bottom.
Really, the exhibits
There
are,
it is. No, that's not it. Oh, existing damaged location, that's
yeah,
all
that,
it's
that's just
asking.
some canned,
So you really don't
Legend.
have a damaged location
no, they haven't
yet.
started.
Pardon?
They haven't started with this.
Oh, okay. I didn't quite understand what everything's the same.
Everything's so what?
I didn't quite understand what all that represented.
So I don't get long-winded, you know how I can be.
No, I don't want you
Yeah,
to.
because we've
know.
got to leave at 10.
Yeah.
Okay, ask me direct questions then, because I can't.
Well, have you made
I
answer
just-
question
I just want to
answered?
know what that represented.
Or
These
Sheriff,
Is that
maps-
the new route, is that the old route, is that what we're gonna do?
This is the.
What
old-
is a damaged location? What does that
It is
represent?
it's a legend for future use.
Okay.
This is
All
a
right,
map
explain.
with a
That's all I need
legend,
to know.
and the.
So it has nothing to do with what's happening right now?
There's nothing happened yet, they're supposed to start any day, is my
Okay,
understanding.
all right. Okay, yeah,
Any other questions?
okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
thank you, Aaron.
I couldn't understand what it was.
Well, that's
Confused. Okay, thanks.
Yep.
anything else, Dan?
That's it.
John?
Nothing.
Carl? Derek?
No updates on we're supposed to get Monday of last week our 2 formal bids, and I haven't talked to, I sent a text to Tom, and get back to me, but I don't know if we have received either of the 2 bids, but those are,
Now, he was out one day, he had a tooth pulled. I think it was Friday, Thursday or Friday, so.
yeah, they, per 2 emails from 2 different companies, they were supposed to get formal bids to us around Monday of this past week, and so he had not seen any as of about Wednesday when we talked, so he was gonna go try to hunt it out, so.
And Barry says that's key to getting
That's
everything else
basically,
kicked.
yeah, is what it sounds like, so we're just waiting.
You have something about your big thing coming up, I saw it on the
Yeah,
paper.
front page of the paper.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
saw that,
car show
Yeah.
and flying in,
yeah,
and
yeah, good.
Okay. Is that it?
that's all I got.
Sheriff? Augie?
Yes, I'm happy to report that this morning, the company called US Imaging is setting up all their big scanning equipment in my office. They're somewhere, gee whiz, don't hold me to this, please. I don't know, 30, 40 books, maybe? But we're gonna be able to, they're gonna take us all the way back to 1961. Whereas right now, we can go back to 94 online. Soon be able to go to 1961. And that seemed like a good cutoff point for the date and the money to pay for it. So hopefully by the end of the day, they will be all done. Then they take it and go do what they do and connect it with our recording vendor. And then pretty soon you'll be able to search more data online,
Back to 61.
back to 61.
Now, still available, but by a more laborious process before that. In other words, if you want something from 55, you still have it.
I'm sorry, now I get the question. Oh my gosh, yeah, the books are there.
I'm just
And
saying,
there's
I
that-
wanted to make sure everybody knew that from 61 to present, it's gonna be a lot smoother.
A lot
Now,
smoother.
it doesn't mean that you can't go back, but it's not gonna be as smooth.
It's just, it'd be easier to use a computer, but
Right.
funds don't allow us to go back any further. Now, obviously, we would help anybody that needs help
Right.
going in back further.
This is just gonna be a real step forward.
Be a step
in
forward.
Availability
Yep.
of the most used documents.
Now, are those physical records destroyed in the process of the scanning, or are they still,
No. These are staying in the vault.
okay?
These are staying in the vault.
So we'll keep all the fuel we need to have a real good fire at some point.
I'm not saying that because every night I worry about that.
I know, well, that's my point is if we can get it all.
And I always
digital,
make sure
without
that
having-
vault door is shut. Yeah, no.
Anything else, Augie?
No, I think that's it. Thank you.
Do you wanna remind everybody about the Wednesday at 2 o'clock?
Wednesday at 2 o'clock at Interstar, there's going to be a demonstration, informational meeting on
Like
solar power.
meditation. Right.
Well, good, we've been needing a rain, that might be just what it takes to drink one up.
Anyway, I just wanna make sure, we wanted to make sure everybody knew about it.
Is the demonstration was gonna gather around and watch the meter?
Yeah, they're gonna watch the sun rays. It's gonna be more exciting than the eclipse.
Are they setting up a windmill?
Cook hot dogs on the panel or something.
Frying eggs.
Did you guys all, do you all have a copy of this with you?
No, I do not.
This is the budget. Alright. I really would like you do, this is simply a rough draft of the budget. Now, it's time for everybody to start taking a look at it. I really, and I mentioned this to, Andy, I think you, Andy, and Derek, and Carl are on the sheriff's committee, or who's on the sheriff's committee?
Arnhem, Boyd, and Patrick. That's labor relations.
That's labor relations.
We don't have one. As such.
Sheriff, labor relations. Sheriff, labor relations.
Oh, okay, well, we need to,
That's what it is.
yes, we need to get together and meet with the sheriff for that. I really, you guys need to go over the budget carefully over the next, at the next study session. And if, Augie, if you can do anything as far as letting Carl know that Andy, he and I need to get together at the sheriff's convenience, maybe before or after one of the meetings that we have set up for the unions. Maybe that would be the time to do it, if that works out.
Day of the 4th, I won't be here.
Okay.
I've got a mandatory class.
Oh, so that's, don't we have we have a,
Meeting on the fourth.
yeah.
But there's a mandatory
One-
class that Judge Garth said I better be at, so.
Okay.
Then you better be there.
So how does that change our meeting date?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Deputy, it's October 4th,
What time is that meeting?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
on the 4th,
On the 4th.
1 o'clock.
So we need
I'll
to,
be back in time. But I'll have my phone, I mean,
Okay.
of course, the insurance is still your big thing, so
Right.
I don't foresee a lot of, see, that's the
Tuesday.
Wednesday.
4th, is that union, or the road?
Those deputies.
That's the deputy, okay.
Yeah. So I think we should go ahead and probably still have it, don't you? I mean, is that, do you recommend?
How do you feel
I
about it?
think y'all be able to go ahead and, say, I'll have my phone on me if you got a question, and
Okay. When we get together, maybe we
it's the court disabilities thing at school that day that I didn't know I was a court disability. Well, I found out a year or so ago I was, but evidently you gotta go to school every 3 years. My 3 years was up.
can, okay.
I didn't know, I forgot what I was gonna say. Huh? I'll think about it.
Well, I assumed that we're, well, I shouldn't have assumed, I should have brought a copy of the budget, I just thought everybody had gotten it, so I,
Just looking, did you send it out?
Augie sent it out.
Well, no, it all came
From Don,
from Don.
yeah.
So what email was it?
So
Well, Don was gonna email it to you, and then,
I did get it. And I just got
No,
it.
I
There was
still
nothing
want
attached.
Carl's
I mean, there
file.
was nothing said
look
about
at it?
anything. I just,
Animal shelter, 'cause I don't know if she put in
I didn't.
extra
Okay.
money for dog food.
I
Nobody-
thought he did.
I thought that's what. Okay.
I was told to print off
No.
for,
Well, I assumed, and we may have discussed
And I
that,
thought- I thought they were gonna,
no,
I'll
yeah,
do it for.
because he didn't have any way to send it out to all the guys, so. At any rate, we'll get it out to you this afternoon.
This morning.
He sent the Sony Express out to Carl, but he forgot to send an email.
I know what I was gonna ask. Did they
Now,
ever
it's both of ours, what?
Didn't we put in extra money for dog food since we haven't found any place to get any yet?
Hang on, let's see, it seemed like she did.
Just trying to find it here.
I could run through a couple of things, highlights. And it doesn't matter what page it's on. Income is 4.26 million. versus, Dan, I'm gonna go over this, so,
Okay.
okay? So it's 4.18 this year, so there's a slight increase in income. Let's see, hang on, I'm finding the, animal shelter.
Looks like she did, not a lot.
Oh, you got a copy of your
Yeah, I was
budget?
looking at, looks like, 2,100.
Yes, yes, she
Okay.
put in 2,100 for Doug.
All right. Hopefully we can get it for that.
Well, if you take, of course, it depends on how many dogs you
That's true.
got. You know, if the
And we
place
just
is
have to pay
full all the
shipping.
time.
Yeah, we just have to pay shipping too, and I'll go work on that.
Of course, one of the big things is insurance. The sheriff's budget and the clerk's budget is what you guys need to take particular care of looking at. We've got basically 6, 7 weeks to, no, we don't even have that long. How long have we got, Augie? We've got 4 or 5, we've got about 6 weeks to get the budget hammered out now that we've got, it's out of balance by about 150,000, but I wasn't gonna make decisions for you, the 7 of us that need to make them together in consultation with the different department heads and elected officials, which is not, that's not uncommon.
What other, run through the increases, I mean, insurance, dog food,
Just as an
what are
oversight,
the other big?
so we think, budgeted, we were even with the income. This year, we're actually, I assume we're gonna be under somewhat, right? That's the projection.
No, we have less income, or we're spending more money than we have income right now, the way the budget sits, by
For
150.
17.
Correct. Oh, this year?
This year.
I'm sorry. Yes, we
I
should
mean, I
be.
know how, checks,
This
how that
year,
works.
yes, it should be.
By 50?
Yeah, maybe. It depends, because the next subject I was gonna take you to is that we may have to go on accrual basis, which means that we're gonna have basically stuffed, not payroll, but we're gonna stuff 13 months' worth of expenses on certain things into this year. Okay, because we're gonna have to, whatever we pay out in November is normally paid in December, right? So we may, because of the way the state wants us to do is, we may have to pick up the expenses from November that we normally pay in December and take them out of the 17 budget. Okay?
Which would leave us no carryover to put in some of our.
Possibly not.
But potentially start us out a month ahead.
Well, except then we got 12 months to
Yeah,
follow.
no, I understand that.
So it's just cramming,
Actually puts us a month
cramming
behind.
10 pounds into an 8-pound bag. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's like an overall delta of $230,000 is the difference. Right, so we're bringing more income in to the tune of about 80,000. We're 50,000 ahead this year, so there's 130, and then 130 and 150 over is 280.
Well, except that you've got the little thing of $470,000 in the hole that we've been carrying for 6 years.
So that's part of it.
No, if we end the year $50,000 up.
Which has been about the average, right?
Right. So now we're down $425,000 in the general fund,
Mhm.
okay? The budget right now is at 118 is a negative, so you add that and
All
you
back
be,
under the general fund, so,
see that? I'm not saying that the 150 stands, I'm just saying the decisions have to be made.
Right now, that's where we
yeah.
are.
Why I'm asking the question is I just want a real look at what the total additional costs are. And so 280 is what I'm getting if I may be missing something there.
I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand how you,
So we're making more money. So we're starting out with more money in income, right? So budgeted $100,000 additional money coming in. So.
Plus
taking-
another 150, is that what you're saying is 230?
No, so 80,000 coming in. So when we budget it for zero, but we're typically 50,000 below. So we can, if that's skewing the math or throwing people off, we can take that out of the picture.
Yeah,
But I'm
take
just
it out
saying,
of the
okay.
fifth.
So there's 80, right?
Right.
So the $80,000 more, and we're starting right now. We're $150,000 in the negative.
Right.
So that's $230,000.
Right,
So
and that's what I'm gonna tell you, I'll just run down it, the clerk is 45,000 more.
And that's
Treasurer.
primarily voting equipment.
Yes, well, and remember, we, 2.2 in there for employees at this point.
Right.
9,000 to the treasurer's office. Circuit clerk is the same. Assessors, 4,000. Probation is 2,000, and I'm just rounding these guys. State's attorney is plus 1,500. Circuit clerk is up $1,000. I'm sorry, not circuit clerk. I'm sorry, circuit court is up $1,000. Sheriff is up 150,000. Public defender, same. Oops. Public, yeah, the same. Border-
Public defender's up 150,000.
No change.
Oh, okay, okay. The other the same.
yeah, the good the same.
Border review is up 500. County board expenses are down $5,000. Animal shelter is up $2,000. ESDA is up $3,000. Airport up $1,000. Building and grounds is the same. Administration is up 134,000.
What's that for, administration?
That's your health insurance,
That's
various utilities,
okay.
HSA payments, opt-out payments, the regional superintendent, building lease, property tax, financial reports.
Quick question, Jeff. The 134 for health insurance, does that include our deputies and jailers, their health insurance?
It's yes. But in this, and I hasten to say, this particular category, till everybody's signed up and, everything, that's
Still
just a
question.
guesstimate,
Yeah.
all right? And then county coroner is up almost $7,000. And information technologies off $3,000. And then Joseph Myers off $2,000. So that's where we're at. So it's $145,000 is the difference. Not 145,000, not 150. It's 145.
So basically,
Negative.
What about,
Oh,
okay.
well, there's enough decreases in there that hell, the sheriff's budget is 150,000.
Okay.
What am I missing?
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
there's 284 just in admin and sheriff's.
Yeah, but there's other income in
Which
those
is
administrative.
that's about the
284.
The total amount of income is 45,34,10. That's total expenses. There's where it winds up to be. That's why you need to look at the
More income
budget.
across the board.
Right. There's 266,000 in health insurance and reimbursements from the different departments, okay?
Yeah, I got it.
So, the big, the insurance I understand, most of them I understand, that the sheriff's being 150,000 over, are you using the estimates on, I'm assuming labor is probably, and insurance for deputies is the biggest chunk of it,
Insurance
so.
is not part of it.
Not part of that.
Okay,
Which your overtime
Extra
figures.
frustrating.
okay.
What's the
So I
sheriff's
guess,
budget
I guess
over this
what
year
my
right now?
question is, are
It's
you
funny,
using for the 150,000? We're still negotiating the labor currently. What numbers are
Of
you
course, and
using
that's
to
the
come
thing
up?
too, with, like salaries, I don't know what the salaries are gonna be.
Yeah,
So I use 3%, good round number, kinda in the middle, so, you know, they could be
right,
less or they could be more.
right.
That's why the sheriff's committee needs to.
No, and I understand, I didn't know what set of numbers you're using, and that's the way to do it.
Last year was the same way, we was in negotiations
Yeah.
and, which kinda messed that up last year because we ended up, I figured it at 3%. But when the first pay raise like 3.5 or 3.25 or something, maybe that's 2 years ago. Which, you know, makes,
I don't remember exactly.
kinda change your figures when you're talking 18, 19 people and.
No, yeah, and I understand trying to come up with budgets when you're still negotiating, but,
The sheriff's roughly is at 86% versus 84%.
For this year?
Yeah.
And that's,
Well,
now,
that's
I know
because
this
of-
budget's weird, right? So this budget with the dispatchers and the jailers are separated out, is that an accurate number for all three?
Yeah, because Don switched it to that. He took the time and did it, so. Those are accurate numbers now, current today. Okay, the budget, they could
Oh,
change the budget,
right.
but that's where we're at right here.
Okay. So what's the additional 150 for? All, I mean, just big numbers? What's the extra?
You know, that's gonna be your salary. You figured in more overtime.
More overtime.
Well, like last year, we had, I think 70,000 budgeted for overtime, over, what, 149 or 150
Vehicle,
vehicle and.
Which the vehicle could potentially will go away, right?
We still just have one, one,
One vehicle, so,
buy one,
Minus
doesn't
25.
match it.
oh, right. Well, that's why, so, I mean, I know we had the agreement with the overtime early in the year for maybe, what, 2 or 3 months? We were trying to hold that, and then that's kind of gone by the wayside. But when you say salary, I guess I'm not following. So is there an additional employee that wasn't in the picture?
No, but
or
the increase over,
just the increase?
and like I say, I figured it at 3%, which is kind of in the middle of what they're asking for and what we're offering. so.
Sure, sure. And the overtime, is that substantially more? You budgeted considerably more than you did last time?
Right.
For last year? Based on what?
Based on what we've used the last couple of years.
But that shouldn't increase it though, that's what I'm trying to.
the budget,
understand.
the last couple of years has been
See, that's where
73,
we went over on our overtime budget.
and it wound up being 150.
so he's using what it's actually been rather than
So that's bumped the budget up.
what we said it was going to be.
Right, but if we're looking at the budget as a whole, and we're right on pace,
There's a lot of places where people don't spend things. He has
No, I'm
done a
tracking.
good job of not, and remember, we don't have an administrative section. We're not spending we're only like at 40% of the administrative costs. Because we've had some people leave and we had the death. And so that budget was too high for.
We got, we kind of got a break on the food budget this year because we got down, population finally got down for 2 or 3 months, which amounts to considerable expense when you're not feeding 45 people.
so you're saying it's more of a factor of those other things, or you're budgeting more costs as far as the food, you know. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here, but
Yeah,
if.
you really need to look at this one.
send it to
It's, we haven't spent 63,000
Mhm.
that we had budgeted in administrative,
me.
okay?
So if this year, the overall budget is right on point, next year's budget is $150,000 more. part of that is overtime. Our overtime isn't gonna change, maybe 2 months worth of, increase. How are, are you, do we just get lucky with savings in the other areas and therefore you responsibly have to put those same numbers in
Yeah, I mean,
this year?
basically, yeah, I mean, that's, overtime, basically, the only thing, in vehicle, the only thing I've really increased. Everything else, I think I've left,
And
Same
repair,
used.
you bump repair by $5,000.
Which is
okay.
absolutely okay.
Which,
That's.
repair is kind of, it's there, but repair can be adjusted on what vehicle we can come up with
Well,
the next.
as far as repair goes, that is not a problem, because that is not just a primary issue, that's secondary, tertiary, other costs of the
Right.
county, so absolutely, then what we need to do there. Okay,
The other thing that's not in the budget this year is a payment to pay down the deficit. We had 100, and that's part of the budget.
you budgeted that by, well, I guess we did last year too, and then we had.
But I budgeted nothing for it this year. We budgeted deficit reduction of 110,000 last year. So, you see,
Yeah, I didn't-
So you're saying 2018, you put nothing
I
in
haven't
so
put
far?
nothing in there so far. Because what I would do was, as we had
extra.
extra, then I would put that in the budget.
So 17 is the only time thus far that we have put in that.
No,
No,
we
we've been doing it every year.
we put in a line item for that every year. And
We
we've
just
made
paid
some
extra.
part of it.
Right, okay, so we haven't necessarily paid that full amount.
No, but remember, we started at 650,000 and,
Well, I know we have carryover, like generally we're ahead of schedule at the end of the year, we take that extra and pay off.
well, what it
our
does
debt.
is it just reduces. We don't spend that money and it reduces
Right,
in
right.
the audit what our liability is. Sorry, I'm not more clear.
No, I'm tracking, I'm with you on all that. I'm better with the
The
numbers.
net result is, at this point, we need to make some decisions collectively that will affect that 145,000,
Mhm.
okay?
Yeah, I mean, seems to me that there's only a couple places that have the big muscle movements. I mean, we can, hunt through these budgets and try to find, a couple hundred here, a couple hundred there, but, we see the obvious places where we could try to move something.
My major concern in the long run is on a year-to-year basis, there's no more income to be had, okay? And I know nobody wants to think about it, but Clark County, some of the other counties have a safety tax. And I think, and I know that the guys went out to Colorado, including the sheriff, they talked about this, and, sooner or later, we're gonna have to take a look at that.
I don't think it passed.
Well,
We could try.
Well,
right
here's the
now.
deal.
Try.
You got X amount of dollars. You can't spend more than what you make.
Or-
So
Well, we are government, that's what government does
Yeah,
best,
I
right?
know. Yeah.
you're either gonna have to cut somewhere or
well, and I hate to put it this way, but does law enforcement, where does it rank up with our citizens?
that's
Number one.
I mean, we have an obligation to have a clerk, to have a circuit clerk, to have a recorder of deeds, to have a judicial system, probation, the attorneys for the defendants. We have a state's attorney. We have all of these obligations. And I mean, we've cut those areas over the last 6 years where they're barely able to operate now as they're growing. I mean, their need is growing. So where's it gonna come from, guys?
we got some expenses coming up too on some buildings.
That's
I
correct.
mean, there's,
We have infrastructure that
you
needs.
can't let that go down.
And, a citizens group, if the board decides, needs to be put together, and I think that's what they suggested out in Colorado, to make the case. And if the case can be made, and the people agree, otherwise, then I guess they don't want the level of law enforcement that they're getting.
I could serve on the committee and tell you what comes through the emergency room every night.
What?
I could serve on the committee with the sheriff and tell you people around town what comes through the emergency room every night. Not a pretty sight, I tell you. It's a lot worse than what it used to
Tack that safety tax on marijuana.
be. Well, no, that's no problem. It's the other stuff.
Yeah, we don't even worry about marijuana anymore.
No, that's what I'm saying, is we legalize it, we can tax it
Hey,
with
you got
safety
marijuana
tax.
on you?
Relies on
Here, have some.
marijuana anyway.
Yeah, especially, you sell it.
Just go next door, they can,
Yeah.
You know, I won't ask how you're spending 300 less on ammunition next year.
now, when I say safety tax,
These are
we're
live
talking
targets.
about a sales tax.
Right.
Okay, we're not talking about property taxes, we're not talking,
Right.
let's,
Well, that's really the only option that's out there, isn't it? It is. I mean, there's no, we can't levy anymore.
Yeah, but you know, sales tax in Edgar County is a different ballgame than Clark County.
oh, absolutely. It's a different, you've got an interstate,
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah,
there's-
either county, nobody's buying much in their home county, but at least with Clark County, you've got outside money coming through, so,
Well, and that's the case in
Yeah.
Douglas County. I
right.
mean, you look at the counties around us with interstates, where the businesses and where they have an influx of people, it's,
Look at Terre Haute. They can't pass a safety tax over there for their jail. They're gonna be trying for years.
well, what I'm
That's the same
saying
I'm
is
saying,
that,
if we're gonna try it here, they can't do it over there, and it's a lot bigger city than what we are. They've been trying, they can't, people won't.
our decisions have gotta be predicated on what our incomes are.
Yeah,
And all we can do is say, look, folks, if this is important to you, and this is why we've, as a citizens committee, whoever's on that, feels that it's important, then, you know, and then if they say no, then we're gonna have to,
We can take a hint and
right. But I mean, we need to offer all the options, and not that any of them is, that's not a great option, taxes, in my mind, is not,
Right.
but I mean,
yeah.
that's why we have referenda, or referenda to,
So let people out there decide.
right. But this is, I know this isn't gonna help us, but these are things that we need to consider when we're trying to figure out what we're gonna do with the budgets. Because we can't penalize all these other functions by the roof, by the, whatever we have to do. Safety is an issue, and people are just gonna have to make a decision about it. Probably haven't said that very eloquently, but that's what it's gonna boil down to.
Yeah. Everything costs more. My first car brand new was $7,200.
It's a lot for a Model T.
But, you know, I have mentioned it to people, and talked to people about it, and, I mean, a lot of people are in favor of it because everybody pays for it one way or.
Right, and that's why I made the point that it's a sales tax. I
Right.
mean, it's, you know, and you're going into these other communities in the area and paying 8-9% for sales tax. And you're paying for them for something. You're traveling to Terre Haute or wherever you're going,
It's maybe a
Danville.
good time to interject the whole piece about reforming our taxes, property taxes and stuff like that. I mean, we mentioned that a little bit, but there's some potential there for considerable monies. So,
Yeah, and I talked to Dina about that a couple of days
Yeah,
ago.
right.
She's working hard on it, but,
Yep.
that's not gonna help us for 2018.
no.
You know, that's gonna be 2019
But I mean,
if
this
we're
is
lucky.
a big, you know, an overarching issue. So that's a place that we,
Well, fairness is always an issue.
Right,
absolutely. And so there's a lot of inequitability amongst our property taxes and
Right.
some of our businesses. And if you start looking at timberland and stuff like that, which isn't a popular thing, a lot of people that have timberland as far as, you know, how it's taxed here by somewhere else. So, you know, there is opportunity there. doesn't change the fact that we need to kind of trim up this budget, but that's something that we need to.
You're just saying down the road, there's other property tax options that may
I
be
think
an
we need to put a
improvement.
priority on that as a county, is looking at that and making sure that we are doing our best, whether it's, you know, Dina or Dina and us, to get things where they need to be. Because I think we're way behind on that.
I agree.
Well, I ask you guys to, number one, once we get the budget out to you, and I apologize, I thought it, for whatever reason. We need to you need to review the budget thoroughly. The sheriff's committee needs to get together, the insurance committee needs to get together, and, you know, if you have any questions about somebody's budget, you need to ask either me or go to the department head and ask them what they're up to, but most of it, I think, is fairly straightforward. And obviously, the areas will have better figures once we get closer to the end of the month on what the insurance costs really are. And then we can go from there. Because it may get better and it may get worse.
I really got a feeling it's gonna get worse as it approaches, especially given, well, we heard back from any of the dispatchers.
I think we have a few, but see,
Of course,
we
they
just
were on
got,
the other one, so they're just thinking of jumping.
Is there a chance of
Change.
an arbitration?
I don't think we should discuss that here.
I just-
Okay.
We're not at that.
Yeah, okay.
No, we're still talking.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful, and
Yeah, I know, I agree.
And what they say to you at the hospital is maybe
Well,
not what
see
they,
those Here and, yeah,
they may be using you to telescope things.
no,
Well,
I don't know anything going on.
no, but I mean,
I don't talk a lot.
all right. You got anything else to come before the meeting this morning? Oh, and you're gonna check on the airport bidding process, so if that needs to go somewhere on the light,
Yeah, I mean, go somewhere.
well, I mean, if we got the bids in, you know, we need to proceed, and if we don't, we need to get on the phone and say, ask them where their bids are.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to, all right.
Do we need a resolution once we get the bids in to approve it, or can the airport committee can handle that?
It's
on
not,
their
the
own?
bids aren't part of our process, because the cost of that should fall well below the threshold. The issue
Okay.
is, we want to follow through the proper steps to possibly get reimbursed on the backside. So that
Right.
bidding process is part of the state's process to give us money. So
Right, I
we
just
don't
didn't
need
know
any-
whether
You know
we
what,
as a board
potentially-
had to do anything about it or
Who
not.
knows what the state will require of us? I will
It's
keep in
under
the loop
30,
as far as that
don't
goes.
Whatever it is, he'll let us know and we'll do it if we need to do it. Is that fair?
If it's under 30, I put up.
Well,
You don't
the
have to
state
have
has
resolution
different
to do it.
requirements than we do,
Yeah.
okay? And we're just gonna follow the state requirements and FAA requirements for bidding. Anything else, Augie?
Move adjourned.
We have a motion, Andy seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. You guys, it's 10:50.